I just want to talk about two words that might help clarify what we're talking about. I think they shed some light on our theme. And the first is this word invest or investment. And as some of you were just joining us, we were chatting a little bit about today being the feast of the visitation of the wise men to the baby Jesus. And this is actually a bigger celebration in places like Spain and France than is Christmas. And kings are dressed up and they go around towns and they bring gifts, and it's a big celebration. So it's a bank holiday in a lot of Southern Europe, as you may know. And what they wear when they dress up as kings, and maybe the original kings, if they were kings, were actually not told they were actually wise men. They probably wore very fine vestments. And that's really where the word comes from in the Latin. It's actually about furnishing or endowing somebody with a mantle. And that mantle could be invisible. So it's a mantle of power or authority or rank or right. So you could say in America, the Constitution invests the president with the power of veto. Or you could say about Old England that feudalism invested the lords with absolute authority over their subjects, their vassals. And this is, I think, what makes my mind go immediately to Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. In the reflection that brought you to this webinar, I talked about the image of God, and that's the way that God invests in humans. Unlike in any other part of creation, he invests his image only in humans. But we can also see this idea of endowing and giving authority and rights to Adam and Eve, because what does he ask them to do with that image? He makes them in this image and then he immediately gives them a task. And it is a task in which they are endowed with an amazing authority. They are to rule and to govern all that they see around them. And this is symbolized in their commission to name the animals. So they're invested by God with power and authority. So I think that's the root meaning of what we're talking about with our new theme, investment. It's giving power to, it's investing in that sense. The other word, very briefly, is the word credit. And that's what we do when we make an investment. We give somebody or some people or some company or some initiative, some enterprise, some entrepreneur credit. And that goes back to the Latin credo, or from which we get the word creed, which means I believe. So if you offer somebody credit or a group of people credit, you are putting your trust in them and you expect them in return to be trustworthy with that trust. So it's trust on both sides. So I think the word credit can also help our discussions as to what a theology of investment might look like. It's about trust. And this, I think, is reflected in some of the names of investment houses that we have in our own history here in the UK. One of the biggest ones being the Prudential, which is all about prudence and carefulness and conscientious stewardship of resources. And another big financial house is Friends Provident. Well, you probably know that Friends refers to their Quaker background, and Provident speaks of God's providence. And this was a way that needs could be provided for by people investing in a Quaker investment vehicle. So I think these ideas are deeply rooted in our culture, and we would be very unwise to let go of them, because this is what true investment and true giving of credit should look like.